Alright, we get a CG this chapter, I'm pretty sure. I like going to the chapter thingy and seeing when we get a chapter, when we get a CG rather. Mandy gently takes the brush from the dressing table, her skilled hands navigating through my long black hair. Okay, so because I chose black hair in the beginning, does that mean my hair is just black always throughout this now? I don't know. I'll put your hair up so it won't get in the way of riding, she says. Should I just make my hair black on the main screen? She usually makes variations for all the hair colors. She did in previous ones where I had white and red eyes. I don't know. Yes, it's very important to have my hair all tied up. I don't want it to cover my vision while riding a horse, and I especially don't want a repeat of last time. Your grace has improved a lot lately, she compliments me. Do horses not scare you? They still inspire a touch of fear, I confess. However, Sir EEYOK has been an excellent instructor. I can now confidently mount and ride a horse. That's amazing, Your Grace, Mandy gushes. I like Mandy. She then pulls my hair back and ties it into a ponytail. Oh, she suddenly exclaims, her movements freezing. What's the matter? I inquire, peering at her through the mirror in front of me. Mandy shifts my hair away from the nape of my neck to get a clearer view. There's a rather peculiar mark on the back of your neck. Have you ever noticed it? No, I have not, I say. Is this the CG? This better not be the CG. That is interesting. Looks like a witch's broom, just a bit bent. Mandy retrieves a hand mirror and positions it so that I can view the back of my neck. There, etched into my skin, lies an unusual mark resembling a flattened V, as if it had been carved with a blunt instrument. It's a mark I've never seen before in my life. Oh wait, she was like chapped at the neck. Could it have something to do with that? Or something that happened when she touched EEYOK for the first time? I don't know. Again, just spitballing ideas from all the tropes and stuff that I know. Could it possibly be a scar? It could. That's what I was saying. Mandy wonders aloud. I'm unable to recollect what might have caused it, I admit. My thoughts involuntarily return to the memories of my time at the guillotine, the blade descending and piercing my skin, coincidentally at the very spot where the mark now resides. But it can't be because of that. That has yet to happen, and hopefully it never will. Mandy seems to think no further of it, resuming her work to style my hair in an elegant fashion. As she concludes her task, she pats her apron with satisfaction and applauds her own work. I do like to think that time travel does not come without a cost. I mean, naturally, right? Oh then, now on to selecting the proper attire. Please don't fasten it too tightly. I require mobility and comfort, I request. You can rely on me, she exclaims enthusiastically. You'll be the most resplendent lady at the fair. Well, thank you. I offer her a faint but genuine smile. Mandy has warmed up to me ever since the incident in the bathroom. Perhaps EEYOK's kind words on my behalf have contributed to her newfound goodwill. Mandy finishes up my outfit with the sapphire necklace that Veritas bestowed upon me as an engagement gift. Thankfully, I won't be participating in the actual hunt, I say. The Hunters' Fair, an annual gathering of high society on the city's outskirts, is a showcase of talents and boasts of wealth among the nobility. At least that's what I experienced the last time I attended. The men take horses and hounds to go hunting in the forest, returning with their prizes to acclaim and prestige. Meanwhile, the women, including myself, are relegated to more social pursuits, chatting and parading about on horseback. We are forbidden from participating in the hunt, an activity we lack the proficiency for and are traditionally barred from attempting. I wouldn't know how to handle a gun either. Mandy, do you have the itinerary of the fair? I ask her. Mandy retrieves an ornate envelope from the dresser and presents it to me. Here it is, Your Grace. I accept the envelope and carefully remove the letter within, my gaze tracing the elaborate script that outlines the timing and dates of today's events. Yet my primary interest lies elsewhere, the guest list. I delve back into the envelope, withdrawing a second letter, this one containing a list of the noble houses invited to the fair. I scan the list attentively, my eyes darting across the names. There is one name that holds particular importance to me, Baron Kinsley. I sit up straight in my chair when I notice that the House of Kinsley is listed among the invited guests. Good, that must mean the Baron will attend too. What character is Baron Kinsley gonna be, I wonder? Or it could be a completely new one, or it could be one of those bland sprites. All I need is an opportunity to engage him in conversation before the hunt begins, with hopes of convincing him to grant me access to his estate and the elusive dragon scale. It does seem a little unorthodox, a lady's visit to a nobleman's residence is a delicate affair, typically necessitating a valid reason and a proper chaperone. The Baron may well decline, especially considering my status as the Duke's betrothed, deeming such a visit inappropriate, but he could be a rake, so I found myself gnawing on my thumb in contemplation, devising persuasive arguments in my mind. What could persuade the Baron to entertain my request? A sense of curiosity about the gatekeeper, perhaps? Your Grace, you must take care of your fingers, Mandy says in concern. I stop chewing on my thumb and give her a smile. You're right, I agree. I need to stop stressing about this and simply find the Baron in the first place. Eventually, Mandy helps me get dressed in my horse riding attire. I'm ready to go. Let's go. The atmosphere is far more animated than my previous recollections of this event. Tents have been swiftly erected and makeshift target dummies for archery practice punctuate the grounds. A bustling crowd of nobles is parading around, showcasing their horses and entourages. Amidst the spectacle, I make my entrance onto the fairgrounds astride my horse. It's an unconventional sight because I'm riding like a man, with EEYOK leading my horse forwards. Of course, it hasn't escaped the attention of the Duke. Veritas maneuvers his own steed alongside mine, forcing EEYOK to halt. What is the meaning of this? He demands, his tone bristling with irritation. It appears that the fair is an occasion to exhibit one's hunting prowess, I respond, maintaining a facade of innocence. Do not pretend I'm a fool. What is the significance of your position? Veritas retorts, obstructing my horse's path with his own. My position is much like yours, is it not? Is there something amiss? I counter. You do not possess the same standing or influence as I do. How dare you conduct yourself in this manner? Ride with the decorum of a lady. You're making a mockery out of me. I tug on the reins to get my horse to avoid Veritas. Who tutored you in such unorthodox riding? He inquires, visibly annoyed. EEYOK appears guilty, avoiding eye contact as he looks down at the dusty road. To protect EEYOK from the Duke's wrath, I decide to withhold his involvement. Would you prefer that I fall off the horse instead? I fire back. Veritas steers his own horse next to me and suddenly reaches out to grab my arm. Sit like a proper lady, he hisses. Perhaps I'm not a proper lady then, I reply in a haughty voice. We've already established that, which is why you're retrieving schooling, he retorts with an irritated tone. And this is precisely how I've been taught to ride a horse. And, might I add, I believe I'm doing an excellent job of it, I retort confidently. Now, may I have my arm back? Your actions are causing an even greater commotion than my unconventional riding stance, I point out. Veritas releases my arm with a glare. I will address this when we're back home, he says in a quiet voice. You shall stay here and not speak to anyone. We will return home as soon as the hunt is over, he says and struts away with his horse. Once Veritas is out of sight, I can't help but release a frustrated groan. Dealing with that man is utterly exhausting. Your Grace, it is my fault for teaching you in this manner. EEYOK speaks up, sounding genuinely apologetic. I shift my gaze down to EEYOK, surprised by his willingness to take responsibility. Nonsense, I respond, giving him a reassuring smile. I chose this path despite your reservations. Let's not dwell on it further, alright? EEYOK nods in agreement, understanding in his eyes. Sir EEYOK, do you have some time before the contest begins? I inquire. It won't start for another half hour, he replies. What can I assist you with? I need to find Baron Kinsley. I'm afraid I do not know this man, EEYOK admits regretfully. Neither do I say, but the man is in possession of a dragon scale. I must seek an audience with him. I see. EEYOK looks deep in thought. I shall ask around to see if the Baron has attended the hunt. Before I can respond, a group of noble ladies approaches us. Hey, Chelsea. Look who's decided to grace us with her presence. It's the gatekeeper. Viscountess Chelsea announces, her horse trotting up beside me. You're gonna be my best friend when I save your freaking baby. How delightful to see you on this fine day, she says, her words dripping with feigned politeness. I almost thought the Duke had locked you away, fearing some dreadful misfortune. Well, I guess you won't know that I saved the baby if I'm trying to make this linen nightgown the fashion so that the nobles buy it and so therefore she buys it. Or are we going to prototype it with her? She's not going to say yes. She's going to be like, this is fucking ugly. And it looks like a peasant gown. I don't know. What dreadful misfortune do you have in mind? I assure you I'm quite capable of breathing the same air and riding the same horses as the rest of society, I reply. Chelsea dismisses my retort with a wave. Oh, I have my doubts. After all, you are the gatekeeper. Who's to say you aren't more delicate than the rest of us ladies? The other ladies converge to form a circle around us, their horses creating an impromptu arena. Fight, fight, fight. Give her the chair. Chelsea takes a glance over at EEYOK, initially dismissing him, but once she sees him, a look of disgust contorts her face. Ew! How disgusting! Is this knight in your employment? Surely you can't let someone with that kind of face disgrace the Duke's name. He was the Duke's original retainer, you fucking dunce. And also, don't be fucking mean to him, I'll kill you. The ladies around us gasp as they gaze upon EEYOK, who stands in the middle of them all. He immediately stiffens up and bows his head down, trying to hide the markings on his face with his hair. I shall take my leave now, Your Grace, EEYOK mumbles beside me. A flare of anger rises inside of me, and I feel compelled to defend EEYOK. He doesn't deserve these kinds of comments. Lady Chelsea, one cannot choose their appearance, but they can certainly choose their manners, I reply. Sir EEYOK's character far outweighs that of your social tact, and I kindly request that you refrain from making such uncouth comments about my excellent staff. EEYOK glances at me, surprised that I'm taking his side and rebuking Chelsea's comments. Even I'm amazed for being so outspoken. Manners? You want to lecture me about manners? Chelsea bites back. You don't even seem to know how to properly ride a horse, she chides me, eyeing the way I sit. I've been instructed in the manner men ride. That, my dear, is precisely the problem, Chelsea retorts with a chuckle. You're not a man, are you? Her comment elicits giggles from the assembled ladies, who seem eager to join in on the mockery. EEYOK seems to be seething in silence next to me, gripping the hilt of his sword tightly. But then, to my surprise, a new voice breaks through the condescending atmosphere. It's how the fuck do you say this? Marchioness. How to say?
Marchioness.
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 Marchioness. I'm never gonna say it again, so. It's Marchioness Sarah Jones, the widow. Viscountess Kotov, lay off the poor woman. How she rides is not of anyone's business. Sarah intervenes, her tone carrying an air of authority. I love how she's oomph in every fucking every world. Was she our oomph in James's room? In most of our routes, she's our oomph. I think we had a different best friend in one route. It might have been Gray's. I'm not sure. I can't remember. It was definitely one of them, though. We had a different oomph. Yeah. As long as she can control her horse, that's all we should expect from a lady, she adds, taking a stand beside me. Your Grace, I shall retreat for now. Please take care. I will retreat from this battle. Yeah. EEYOK announces now that the conversation is broken up. I nod at him and EEYOK slips through the crowd. Good day, Your Grace. I hope these peacocks painted in garish colours aren't bothering you too much, Sarah says, turning to me with a warm smile. I can't help but chuckle in response to her sly remarks. This causes Chelsea to shoot a glare in Sarah's direction. Sarah's higher rank leaves Chelsea with little room to retort. I kinda like the colours, I say, casually shrugging. True, wearing black is so dreadful to my skin, Sarah huffs. But it makes your skin glow a beautiful pale. I think it suits you. Perhaps you should consider wearing it year-round, Chelsea adds, her compliment veiled with thorns. An entire year? Who do you think I am? I will be out of mourning in a couple of months, perhaps just in time to greet your little one with colourful clothes. Chelsea pales and she looks down, gripping her reins tightly. Little one? One of the other ladies asks aloud. Oh, you haven't told anyone yet? My mistake. My fucking throat is so annoying. The other ladies start whispering among themselves, buzzing with the freshly acquired tidbit of gossip. I don't know what you're talking about, Chelsea stammers, her cheeks tinged with a pale pink hue. Of course not, Sarah replies, waving off Chelsea's denial. But then again, you've never been particularly skilled in the art of deceit. Viscountess, I can see the bump you're so desperately trying to conceal under your dress. Chelsea looks positively livid. Viscountess, you do well to learn when to hold your tongue, or perhaps I might let mine run wild too, Sarah warns her. Then Sarah throws her head back at me. Come, Your Grace, ride with me. These ladies bore me. Queen. She leads her horse away from the circle and I follow suit. We halt at the edge of the fairgrounds behind some tents, distancing ourselves from the others. I'm grateful she joined the conversation and actually stood up for me. I wonder what changed to make this happen. What brings you to the fair? Sarah asks, turning her attention to me. Oh, the Duke wanted me here to be paraded around, I respond honestly. You know how it is, appearances and all that. What a pity. I was hoping you'd come for some fun, she sighs. Fun? I inquire, raising an eyebrow. I understand that socializing among other noble ladies isn't everyone's cup of tea, but riding horses, that can be quite enjoyable. I've only recently learned to ride, I admit. My personal retainer taught me. Before that, horses terrified me. Sarah looks a bit surprised. Terrified you? She asks. I recall my previous experience at this fair, the runaway horse that spooked my own, resulting in a humiliating fall into the mud. Not only was I completely embarrassed for having fallen off my horse and covered in mud, I had grown fearful of the unpredictability of horses. That's why I learned how to ride this time around, so that I wouldn't be thrown off my horse. My first time riding a horse, he got spooked and threw me off his back, I admit. Ah, yes, they can be quite unpredictable, scared of their own shadow sometimes, Sarah says as she pats her own horse. But I find them magnificent creatures, so large and powerful, yet here they are, tamed by us tiny humans. Do you think we tamed dragons in the past? Sorry. I asked, contemplating how dragons would roam our world. Sarah chuckles and shrugs. No clue. That was before my time. I think you'd know more about it than me, being the gatekeeper and all. It's a recent development, actually. It's all quite new to me, and I don't know much about what it means to be a gatekeeper. I flick my eyes toward her, feeling like I can open up a bit more. In fact, I'm here to find someone, Baron Kinsley. Supposedly, he owns the last remaining dragon scale in existence, and I'm quite eager to study it. Baron Kinsley? You can find him down by the tents, Sarah says, pointing behind her. He was wearing a silver outfit decorated by a large sapphire brooch. Thank you. I'd better make my move before he joins the hunt. All right, come join me for tea sometime. I'd enjoy that, she says, a genuine smile gracing her lips. Anyone that rides like a man is infinitely more interested in pleasant company than those peacocks. It clicks in my mind why Sarah Jones came to my defense this time around. It's because I rode in a different position and altered the timeline. Would someone really think about that? Like a timeline in the 1700s? Would they think the word timeline? I just don't think so. And this is just making me think that this is... Obviously, it is like... You are going back in time, so you are time traveling, technically. But I always don't really, like, entirely see it the same way as someone purposefully... Like, one of my absolute... Not one of, my absolute favorite anime is Steins Gate, where he uses a microwave to travel to the past. And it is one of those situations... Well, okay, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who might want to watch it after they hear me say that, and I would recommend you fucking watch it, honestly. The visual novel is super good as well. I played it after I watched the anime, and it's super good. It's so good. Everything about it. But it is time travel specific. It's just so fucking good. And Miyano Mamoru is the main character in it. He voices the main character. my favorite Seiyu. But that's what I think of when I think of like timelines and, you know, time looping. I don't ever think of like, even though it is time traveling, you die and then you travel back to a previous point where you're not dead, right? That is time traveling. And that is I guess that the death is the time traveling device. But to me, I just don't see it on the same level as using an actual device like a microwave or a different time machine, whatever. Yeah, I just don't see it on the same level. But this is time travel, but I'm just wondering if it's a time travel where EEYOK is like also time traveling. And now he just doesn't remember. I don't know. Again, we're gonna have to see. I respond with a soft giggle. I don't think so, by the way. I am leaning towards he is not a time traveler. But that fucking... I failed again. That was a good setup for it, I'm just saying. It was right there. Don't worry, you haven't seen the last of me. With that, I guide my horse away, navigating through the bustling fair until I eventually locate EEYOK. Your Grace, he says, greeting me. I have located Baron Greg Kinsley. Do we know anyone called Greg in different routes? I think we might. He points to a young man in an animated conversation with some other nobles. Just like Sarah said, he's dressed in silver attire wearing a large sapphire brooch. I've already alerted him that you wish to speak to him. Thank you, Sir EEYOK. You've done well. I acknowledge his efforts. Your Grace, the contest is commencing soon. I need to prepare myself, he regretfully informs me. Do your best, I tell him, giving him a small smile. Show them your excellent swordsmanship skills. Slightly humbled, EEYOK looks down but can't suppress the smile that tugs at his lips. Of course, he says, leaving me alone. Taking the reins firmly in hand, I urge my horse forward, guiding it toward Baron Kinsley. My horse comes to a rest near the tents, and I gracefully dismount, preparing to approach the Baron. So, okay, if he has no sprite, if he's like, not a detailed sprite, I can't tell whether or not he's going to be an asshole or not. But if he's based on a character from another route, like Neil or something, I feel like he's going to be an asshole, because Neil is always the asshole. Or if he looks familiar, we'll see. With my hands clasped together, I tentatively step closer to him, careful not to interrupt his conversation. Okay, I've never seen... No, we have! Who is that? We know him. He's not my brother in Roots, but he does look like it. Who is he? I feel like we have seen him before. He's not the stalker guy in Aiden's route. Is he? I'm gonna have to look this up. Yup, I was right. This memory is actually good, even though I don't know when I actually recorded Aiden's route. I didn't upload it for a while, I think, so I can't even go by my dates that I've uploaded it. It says, and this is gonna expose me for how fucking lazy I've been, but June 2025. That's apparently when I uploaded it. Okay, last year I got really invested in role-playing on a game called DayZ. And that is what took a lot of my time. It was other stuff too. But yeah. I wasn't entirely being lazy. I just had too many things on my plate. But yeah, but this guy is Greg. His name is Greg in Aiden's route, and he was the asshole, like, incel guy, so he's gonna be an asshole. Unless she's gonna surprise us. But it feels like she's pretty consistent, like Veritas is a bad guy. We'll see. Baron Kinsley, I address him politely. His blue eyes glance over towards my side. Good day, my lady. He greets me politely, seemingly not recognizing me. I'm Lady Valkii Alderton, the Duke of Ering's fiancée. I introduce myself. A sense of recognition frames his face. Good, at least he knows what that means. The gatekeeper, yes, we've all had the announcement some weeks ago. Indeed, I affirm. I have recently come across some information suggesting that you possess a dragon scale. Your knowledge is correct, he boasts. It sits proudly atop my mantle at my estate, the only one of its kind. I had to strike a good bargain to deal with some merchants. I had to strike a good bargain deal with some merchants years ago. I would love to see it, I say, smiling sweetly at him. The Baron smirks arrogantly. You see, he's a fucking asshole. We knew it. We knew it. I don't think you will have the opportunity. It is uncouth for a fiancé of the Duke to enter another man's estate. And he's correct. It would be against social norms to visit another man while betrothed. I bite my bottom lip, frustration simmering beneath the surface. Quickly, I must figure out another way to get my hands on that scale. What can pique his curiosity? Then, perhaps, care for a wager? He raises an eyebrow. He raises his eyebrows in curiosity. A wager? He repeats. Yes, a wager, I confirm. I understand that your knight will also be participating in the contest today, correct? The Baron nods. Indeed, the House of Kinsley will be represented in the knight's contest. Then let's make a bet. If my knight defeats yours, you shall agree to gift me the dragon's scale, I suggest, my tone confident. He huffs dismissively, clearly finding the idea preposterous. And if my knight prevails, what could you possibly offer in return? My fingers idly trace the large sapphire necklace adorning my neck, causing it to shimmer brightly and brilliantly in the sunlight. In the event that your knight wins, I reply, my voice steady, I shall present you with this exquisite sapphire necklace. It seems you have an affinity for sapphires, do you not, Baron? He swallows, straightening his back. His outfit is complemented with sapphire crystals. He must be fond of them. Surely he won't say no to this necklace. While it is indeed a fine piece of jewellery, the dragon's scale is one of a kind. I would expect something more substantial. Darn, it seems he's not satisfied with the necklace alone. I raise up my hand, an idea forming. And you shall be granted an audience with the Duke during his gambling nights at the casino. Mentioning the Duke's name seems to strike a chord with the Baron. The prestige associated with Veritas still holds considerable weight. Any lower-ranked noble would want to be associated with him. I doubt Veritas appreciates me doing this, however. Greg extends out his hand. Then you've got yourself a wager, Your Grace. I take his hand to shake it. Deal. Greg releases my hand and waves someone over so he can arrange for his knight to have a duel with mine. I exhale out a breath I've been holding. This is stressful. And you've also just, like, made... You didn't talk about this with EEYOK. I'm not cool with this. I can't... Yeah, thank you. I can't help but feel a pang of guilt as I approach EEYOK, my inner thoughts weighed down by the realization that I had unwittingly entangled him in my impulsive bargain. Sorry, EEYOK, I used you. Although I've witnessed EEYOK's exceptional swordsmanship firsthand, I have no inkling about the Baron's knight's skill level. I hope I haven't set myself up for failure. I recall not attending the knight's contest at all last time, so I'm unsure of its results. EEYOK could have very well won the entire thing and I wouldn't know. No, if EEYOK had emerged victorious, Veritas would have surely boasted about it, but nothing of the sort comes to my recollection. I distinctly remember Veritas bragging about his impressive number of prey acquired during the hunt. Surely, had EEYOK won, he would have spared a few words of acknowledgement? No. Dude's a prick. I searched for EEYOK in the crowd, suddenly more worried than before. I spot him back at some tents. Sir EEYOK, I call out for him. EEYOK appears to be preoccupied, fiddling with his equipment and a wooden sword. Fortunately, it seems they won't be wielding real blades in this contest. He turns to face me. Your Grace, what's the matter? Did you not find the Baron? He asks upon seeing the unease etched across my features. I did, and I may have foolishly gone into a wager with him, I explain. You made a bet with the Baron. What for? He asks, slightly confused. Well, he didn't seem keen on inviting me to his residence to see the scale in person, so I attempted to bet for it instead. EEYOK's brows furrow slightly as he absorbs my words. What did you bet, Your Grace? That you'd win a duel against his personal knight? I say, feeling sheepish. I figured you'd win, I tell him. EEYOK looks slightly surprised at my confidence in him. He clears his throat and straightens his back. You're placing a lot of confidence within my abilities, he says, acting humble. I've seen them firsthand. You possess an uncanny ability with the sword. I hope I wasn't wrong in betting on you. EEYOK takes an elegant bow in front of me. Your Grace, you can use me however you see fit. Day or night, if you need me to fight for you, I shall. His golden eyes lock with mine, and I can see he means every word he says. Well, that's reassuring, I admit. He's being so compliant. Please, do your best. EEYOK's name is called from the crowd, signaling that his duel with the Baron's knight is about to commence. EEYOK grins and bows out of the conversation, walking towards the contest grounds. Does he, have a special strength because he's a dragon? I'm not letting this go. He's a fucking dragon. Oh, this will probably be the CG. I stand with the others, watching EEYOK and another man walk towards the middle of the small arena. The rules are simple. The match will be decided when one of the knights is either disarmed or put into a position where he has to admit defeat. The referee raises a hand, and with a swift downward motion, the duel begins. Taking no time to hesitate, EEYOK rushes forward with a flurry of blows, forcing the other knight to parry defensively. They circle each other, their wooden swords clanging with dull thuds. But it's clear to me, EEYOK possesses the upper hand. His movements are calculated and fluid, and every strike he makes is met with a parry that barely keeps the other knight in the game. Keep it up, Sir EEYOK, I cheer for him, unable to contain my excitement. The crowd is equally as excited to see two men having a match. Sweat glistens on their brows as they exchange blow after blow. EEYOK almost seems to be toying with his opponent, testing his defenses and making it clear that victory is well within his grasp. Then, with a cunning feint, EEYOK maneuvers around the Baron's knight, sending him stumbling to the ground. In an instant, EEYOK is upon him, pinning the fallen knight beneath him, his wooden sword held at the defenseless neck. Will you yield? EEYOK's voice rings out, strong and authoritative. I can't help but thrust my fist into the air at his victory. But the other knight has a different idea. He grabs a handful of sand from the ground and hurls it into EEYOK's face. Ugh, EEYOK coughs, retreating and rubbing his eyes to rid them of sand. The knight seizes this opening, launching himself at EEYOK and tackling him to the ground, disarming him of his wooden sword in the process. Oh no. Unmatched! The Knight of House Kinsley is victorious. The referee's proclamation feels like a lead weight in my chest. The crowd cheers loudly as the knight clambers off EEYOK and bows in front of the crowd. I stand in silence, watching as EEYOK dusts himself off and retrieves his sword. He lost, but it was a dirty trick, a cowardly move. EEYOK had him pinned. I rush over to EEYOK, who wipes the sweat from his brow with a weary smile. That was unfair, I protest. You had him at your mercy. EEYOK avoids meeting my gaze, opting to sheath his sword. In a true battle, sportsmanship often takes a back seat. I'd have done the same were I in his position, EEYOK explains. But this was a mock battle with wooden swords, I complain. And it is still my loss, he says. He then bows deeply before me. My sincerest apologies, Your Grace. I couldn't secure a victory for you. Why do I feel like it was on purpose that he didn't secure a victory? I don't know. Again, maybe I'm just looking into it too deeply. As if on cue, Baron Greg Kinsley strides towards us, exuding an air of smugness. Well, 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 it seems your bet didn't turn out in your favor, Your Grace, he remarks with an air of arrogance. An admirable performance, sir, he nods to EEYOK, who remains silent. I shall be collecting that exquisite necklace of yours now, he adds, extending his hand to me. I crawl the urge to hurl the necklace at him. Instead, I unclasp it and dangle it tantalizingly above Greg's outstretched palm before releasing it. I hope it's to your satisfaction, I say extra sweetly. Yes, it'll make a fine addition to my collection. Oh, and I'll be expecting an invite from the Duke, he reminds me of the terms. Of course, I affirm. Greg leaves the arena with a new sapphire necklace in tow. I feel salty, but I can't fault EEYOK for the loss. It was my choice to involve him in my scheme. EEYOK approaches me, standing next to my side. This won't be our last chance to acquire the scale, Your Grace, he murmurs in a low enough voice so only I can hear him. I'll make amends for my failure. I shake my head. No, don't. This was my plan to fail in the first place. I'll find another way. The Baron won't grant access to his estate, and Veritas won't purchase it, and now I've wasted the bet. There's only one solution, though it's far from proper. Your Grace, I assure you, EEYOK begins. I'm gonna steal it. I interrupt, catching him off guard. EEYOK's eyes widen in surprise. Pardon? I press a finger to my lips, silencing him. We'll discuss it later, I say. That's so stupid, because, like, you show interest in the scale, and then if it goes missing, who do you think they're gonna come to? My mind made up. I mean, I guess she has no choice. I lift up my skirt and march across the grounds in search of my horse. If conventional means won't grant me the scale, I resort to unconventional methods. I'm not even going to steal it, just borrow it for a second, then return it before anyone notices something has happened. Honestly, I would threaten to kill myself in front of Veritas and say, if I would act like a spoiled lady. I'd be like, if you don't have the Baron come here and show me the scale, I'm gonna kill myself. Invite him to your manor, bring the scale with him, and show me the scale, or I will kill myself. And then you lose whatever the fuck you want to use me for later. Something like that anyway. I would do whatever I could, because this idea is stupid, because she is the only suspect, because she is the only person who's actually shown any real interest in getting that scale. She literally made a bet for it. So if it goes missing, then they're gonna know who took it. So before any of this, I would have thrown a fit. Yeah. There's no guarantee that you'll come back a second time if Veritas kills you right then and there, but I would have threatened something. Something that, yeah, Veritas would fucking hate you for it, but I would threaten something. I would have to think about it, but there has to be a threat that you can do to Veritas to get him to do what you want in that way. Because he wouldn't want the Baron to come to his house, because the Baron is a lower status and Veritas is a pompous twat. But there has to be something. I mean, he got her a fucking necklace, right? So she could have been like, as an engagement gift, it'll cost you like less than nothing. Just have him make an appearance at your house. That'll probably improve his standing a little bit, and tell him to bring the scale. Or have him over at your casino for a day. Or I'm gonna kill myself. I don't know. In all my thinking, I had forgotten the one thing I was so desperate to avoid, the runaway horse. Suddenly a horse... Okay, we're gonna get a CG now. Suddenly, a horse's panicked whinny echoes through the air as it charges through the crowd at a breakneck pace. It races riderless, wild and frightened, and I just happen to stand in its path. We were right. This doesn't make any sense. Oh my god, I am wearing that outfit. This doesn't make any sense because she was never near the dueling arena. So why would the horse be here? Right? She never went here. So, because she had no idea that the duel even was happening back in the other timeline. This is cool. I like this. I like this. Before I can react, I'm yanked aside, enveloped by a pair of strong arms, as the horse hurtles past, kicking up a cloud of dust in its wake. I steady my breathing, my face squished against EEYOK's chest, aware of his racing heartbeat mirroring my own frantic pulse. His hand rests protectively on top of my head, making me feel oddly delicate in his grasp. EEYOK loosens his arms and looks down at me, his face etched with extreme concern. It's a look I've never seen on his face before. Usually it's indifference, but right now, genuine fear fills his eyes. Are you alright? He asks, his voice sounding parched, as though he hasn't had a sip of water in ages. Yes, I managed to stammer out. Are you injured anywhere? He continues, his hands carefully scanning my body for any signs of harm. I'm fine, Sir EEYOK. You can let go of me now. I mumble, feeling a bit embarrassed by our intimacy. See, he's like... Am I crazy for thinking that he still remembers that that he's like time looping? That he remembers stuff before? You would just think there would be more signs of that, right? I don't know. Realizing he's been holding on to me, EEYOK hastily steps away, appearing flustered. He seems frazzled, but I'm feeling much the same as well. That horse could have trampled me, but EEYOK's quick actions saved me from certain injury. I place a hand over my still racing heart and draw in a deep breath. Thank you, I express with sincerity. That was terrifying. EEYOK's expression transitions from worry to annoyance, directed at whoever allowed the horse to run amok. This event isn't safe for you, Your Grace. Let's get you out of the crowd. I wholeheartedly concur, and together with EEYOK, we set out to locate my horse. No matter how I try, though, I can't get my heart to calm down. Because you're with EEYOK. I love EEYOK. Okay. You know, I think EEYOK is going to be my favorite, and also because of this time. Again, I don't like that this time is very problematic for very many reasons. As we're seeing, there was a reason why the year was noted in the trigger section. It's because women weren't treated as people back then. Oh shit, I just hit my PC. Don't turn off. Okay. There's a lot of stuff I don't like about it in that aspect, right? But in the way of the taboo romance of someone from an upper class having feelings for someone in a lower class, and it being frowned upon, and secret little touches or near touches, that kind of vibe is appealing, right? And it's the same here, but my probably my number one top trope is like princess and knight, because that is such an interesting dynamic of like her knight. He is bound to protect her, and yet he's like in love with her and she's in love with him, but he is bound by duty. And I know that kind of dynamic can get very frustrating as well, don't get me wrong, I get it, but it's also like, I will do anything to protect you. And I think that probably stems from a lot of trauma on my end, but like where I like the idea of someone going to insane lengths to protect me. It's why I like Toma in Amnesia, even though everyone shits on him for putting you in a cage, and I get it. I wouldn't want that in real life, don't get me fucking wrong. I can discern reality and, you know, fiction. That's not an issue for me. But it's the idea of someone being so obsessed and so in love, and they just want to protect you, and they will do anything to make that happen, even if it makes you hate them for a bit, maybe. You know, I like that dynamic, and it's my favorite. It is my favorite, the knight and the princess. And this feels very similar to Knight and Princess, because she is, you know, she is, I mean, yes, she's risen from a commoner status, so it's not exactly the same, but he is very much a knight, obviously. He's called a knight. And she is, let's just say she's like basically a princess. She's not royalty by any means, but she's basically a princess. I hate all this shit with like dukes and all of this. It's like, all right, why do you have so many different titles for different things? It's so stupid. That's what I don't really like about that time period either. But yeah, she's basically a princess. That's just, she's not royalty, I get it, but she's basically a princess. So yeah, but the thing with Celiana, she doesn't really do the damsel in distress thing, and I do not like it when a main character is useless. Like completely useless. I do like it when they can do things on their own, but I also hate it when they are so like independent that they do everything on their own and that they never need help. That's not the dynamic for me, because you are going to have times where you need help. That's just that relates to real life. So yeah, there's I don't know if anybody here plays these just like text choice games. There's quite a few of them, and there's one called Wayhaven Chronicles, I want to believe it's called. Let me just make sure. Yeah, the Wayhaven Chronicles, there's 3 books out, and like there's a 4th one coming out at some point. And in that book, and know I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but hey, if you want to hang out, do so. But I'm not going to the next chapter in this video, so you can just stop here if you want, if you don't want to hear this. Yeah, there's in that story, you are a detective, and you are basically being protected by 4 vampires. And I think it is a little inspired by Twilight, but not in any kind of cringy way that you might think of when you think of Twilight. Like, the vampires don't sparkle and stuff like that. It's definitely elements of different vampire inspirations, for sure. And, you know, the 4 vampires are all distinct in their own way. But obviously, she's a detective. She can take care of herself. But there are definitely times where she is a damsel in distress. And that's good, because then it'll switch to the character that you're romancing's point of view, which I love POV switches. POV switches, I love it. If I ever write something, and I really do want to, I want to write an interactive fiction, I will do POV switches because they're perfect. So something happens to the detective, the main character, the character that you are, because you choose on almost every page, there's a choice for you to make of how you like respond to someone or something. I'm sorry, my fucking throat. Yeah, so there's a choice. You are the character. And if she does get hurt sometimes, you know, their world is scary. It's not scary, but there's just things that can be harmful, and the detective is essentially a human. So, you know, she gets put in danger. And there are times where she's put in danger, and then, or whatever, she's just put in danger. I'm not going to spoil too much. And then the POV will switch, and you'll get a POV of the person that you're romancing. And I love that. And it's great because you get to see how they feel about it and what they would do in that instance. And you feel cared for, you feel loved, you feel protected because they are so desperate to protect you. And that's why I think that I don't like it when women are damsels in distress, but I think that sometimes you're allowed to be just in distress, right? I think that's normal. You can't get out of every situation by yourself. Unless you're like a god, right? So I like it. And that is why I like the princess and the knight thing. I like the idea of the knight teaching the princess sword skills and that close proximity. You know, trying not to cross any boundaries, even though you probably shouldn't be teaching the princess how to use a sword anyway. It's that kind of thing that I really like, and that's why I feel like this might be my favorite route. Like, Dimitri was very, very simple compared to probably everything else. Dimitri was just like slice of life. There's nothing really going on here, but I still really liked Dimitri just because I liked the character. And Aiden, that was good. That was a good route, I will say. But I didn't like how Aiden typed. I hated how Aiden typed. And I didn't hate it. I didn't love how much like 18 plus content there was in there. I know that's like the point, kind of. You can't even, I don't even think on a free version of the game you can go past like chapter 9 on Aiden's route. It's so heavily influenced by the 18 plus content that I don't think you can play it freely. I think you have to buy the 18 plus content, which would suck for me because back then I wouldn't have been able to buy it. Honestly, it sucks now that I can't buy the 18 plus content for EEYOK on Steam. It's not coming out till like April anyway, but I was making nice. I just like having everything in one place, so having to go do the Patreon and pay there kind of sucks. But but yeah, I think this is a contender to be my favorite for all the reasons I mentioned before. Again, the time period is kind of annoying. It's just naturally going to come up that it's based on a certain amount of reality, right? This is generally what it was like back then, kind of. It's not set in a fantasy land where it wasn't like that. which I like that. I like when people are like, it is based on this time period, but the misogyny is gone. Like, women could do whatever. And then, you know what, just add magic in there. Which is crazy, actually. She's put in, like, that... She's put it in, like, the 17th century, and there's dragons. Magic, probably. I mean, that has to be right. If you can, like, open gates to other worlds or whatever. And yet, she kept the misogyny. I'm not complaining about that necessarily, because it's real, but to place it against dragons and magic has always been baffling to me. That was my problem with, like, Game of Thrones and stuff, too. It's like, you have fucking dragons, you have magic. Why are you saying that to make it real, you need, like, casual misogyny in there, and then, like, hardcore misogyny in there with, like, you know, what happens to Sansa and all that. All right, anyway, I'm gonna stop going on this tangent now, but I do feel like this is gonna be my favorite route. I'm gonna continue because it's not that late. I lied, it is, but I'm gonna keep going because I just want to get further, and I want to get more into, you know, the romance. I can see it blooming, obviously. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one.